So now we're going to talk about simplifying logarithmic expressions. But the first thing before we do that is we're going to recap what we just learned in our last lesson. But I want you to be able to change things from exponent form to log form and log form to exponent form. So here is like your example here again, how we talked about here's your exponential form, here is your logarithmic form, okay? They mean the same thing. So rewrite these ones here in exponential form. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to write those two examples into exponent form. Just rewriting it. When you're done, put down your pencil so I know that you're done. Okay, so example 1. I'm going to pull stick actually. Is this the right class? Nope. Oh, there's too many people missing the pull stick. Okay, so Adam, do you know how to change this into exponent form? Yes, you do. What is the base?
5.
So it's going to be 5 to the, no, 1/2. 1/2 power equals square root of 5. So it's always this. It's always the base to this exponent gives you that answer. Okay, example 2. Austin, how do you write this one in exponential form?
3 to the negative second power.
Perfect. Perfect. Good job. Courtney, did you have a question?
No, I got it.
Okay, so this is where it can be sometimes a little bit confusing. On these ones, they want you to go and write them back into logarithmic form. Okay, so we know we're going to write log. Okay, which number is my base here? 2, so that's a little 2 for your base. Which number is always like the answer part that goes here? So it's 32 equals 5. Okay. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds to try doing 4 and 5 on your own.
When we're putting it back to log form, do we have to put it in the decimal or the fraction?
You can just leave it as a decimal, it's fine. You could do either one though. Decimal or fraction's okay, I guess. Okay, I think most of you are done. Okay, so Jose, what will I write for 4? Do you know? Perfect. Log base 10 of 0.001 equals -3. Also, gentlemen, we don't have to necessarily write the base 10 because if you don't write it, you automatically know it is base 10. But you can write it. Either way is fine. Just like with the root 2. We can write the 2 or not write the 2. Okay? All right, number 5. Which group haven't I picked on? Okay, Chesley, can you tell me how to do 5?
Log 7.
Log base 7.
Yeah, and 49.
Perfect. Okay, any questions so far on that? No. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to kind of solve log equations. Okay, so here are these 6 simple steps. First one, you want to set the equation equal to x, okay, or some variable. So on here, I'm going to put, see how on all these we had an equal sign on all these problems? This one doesn't have an equal sign right now, so we're going to make one. We're going to set it equal to x. Then you want to rewrite this into exponential form. So how do I write this in exponential form? 7 to the x power equals 49. Good. Next step, rewrite each side of the equation to have the same base. So what would be the base that I would use on this problem? 7. Good. So 49 is 7 to what power? 7 to the second power equals 7 to the x. Then, once you have them as the same base, we drop the bases. and you can solve for x, and therefore my answer is x equals 2. So do we see how this now goes back to what we learned last unit?
Done it.
Okay. Okay, so example 2. What is my first step? Thank you, Nucci. Equal to x is correct. Okay, my second step is what? Gur.
Write the equation in exponential form.
Good. Do you know how to write example 2 in exponential form? So we take our base, which is
Ready?
3, and we bring it up to the x power equals 1 over 27. Very good. Okay, next step is what, Eric?
To make the base of the same.
Good, base is the same. What base do you think we'll end up using? 3. And 27 is 3 to what power? 3 to the third. But I don't want on the bottom, I want to bring it up to the top. So what happens when I change sides with exponents? Very good. So it's going to be 3 to the x equals 3 to the negative third power. And then my last step is to do what, Mally? Good. And that means that my answer is perfect. X equals negative 3 is correct. Questions? Okay. Chris Yang, how will I write example 3? What will I do first?
The base is 4.
Good. But the first thing I'm going to do is put equals x, and then we're going to change it to exponential form. So how do I write an exponential form?
4x.
4 to the x power equals,
16 to the 4.
very good, 16 square root 4. These are the type of problems you guys hate, but you need to know how to do them. Okay, so what's going to be my common base?
2.
We could actually, you could use 2, but we could use 4 too, because 16 is 4 to the second power. So I'm going to keep it as base 4. So 16 is 4 to the second power, and the square root of 4 is 4 to what power?
1/2.
Okay, and what do you do with both of these? Well, we have to add your exponents. What is 2 plus a half? 2.5. So that means I have 4 to the x power equals 4 to the 2.5. 2 plus a half is 2.5. Drop our bases, and so x equals 2.5. Questions? All right, example 4. My first step is what, Samantha? Very good, equals x. Next step is what, Juanita?
2x equals 3 root 1 over 4.
Good, 2 to the x power equals the cubed root of 1/4. Okay. Jet, do you know what we're going to do now?
Come on, Jet.
Okay. Tu Cheng, do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're supposed to. One fan, Chris.
Okay, we
I know
need
the answer, but
what? We need like what? We need like bases. Okay, what would be our like base? 2. Okay, so we know that 4 is really 2 to the second power. Okay, but again, we don't want that fraction. So how do I change 2 to the second power that it's not a fraction? Okay, so I'm going to write this right now. I have 2 to the x equals the cubed root of 2 to the negative 2 power. Do we all agree with that? Because in order to get rid of this fraction, I just have to bring the 2 to the second up and give it a negative exponent. Okay, now who remembers how to get rid of my root? How do I write this without a root and just an exponent? Close. Negative 2 over 3. So we have 2 to the x power equals 2. Remember that your root number is always the denominator for your power, and the power goes on top. So 2 to the negative 2 over 3 is the same thing as the cubed root of 2 to the negative second power. And then lastly, we would drop our bases, and my answer is? Perfect. Oops. Okay, example 5. First step is to do what, Serena Foster? Equal to x, good. Vu, what's my next step? Good, do you know how to do this one? Mm-hmm. Perfect. 1/2 to the x power equals 16 is correct. Okay. Josh, what do you think the base is that I'm going to use?
2.
So how do I change 1/2 to be?
You use a negative.
Good. So how will I write that?
2 to the negative x power equals 2 to the 4th.
Perfect. Do we all agree with that? Because this is really 2 to the first. When we bring it up, it's 2 to the negative 1 or 2 to the negative 1x. And then 16 is 2 to the 4th. Yeah? Helena, what do we do now? Good. So now I have negative x equals 4. Am I done? No. Michael Lawhead, what do I need to do now? What do I do? Divide by? Good. Divide by negative 1 to both sides so to get x by itself. A negative divided by negative is a positive, so we have x equals negative 4. Okay, questions? All right. As I already stated, if there is no base stated, then the base is 10. This is called a common logarithm. Okay, these are things that you are going to want to remember or memorize. Okay, so on example 1, I'm going to show you this. So this is log base 10 of 1,000. Because it didn't have the little base 10, we know it's a base 10. If we put it equals to x, how will I then solve this? 10 to the x equals 1,000. What is the base I'm going to use? 10. 10 to the x equals 10 to the, good, to the cube or 10 to the third. Drop your bases and you get x equals 3. Okay, now I kind of want, well, do you guys want me to show you a shortcut now or you want to learn it later? Okay, let's keep going here really quick. So what base is this one? 10. So how will I write this in exponential form? 10 to the x equals, I would write it as 1 over 1,000. Okay? And then 1,000 we know is what? 10 to the third, but since it's a fraction, we're going to rewrite this as 10 to the x equals 10 to the negative third, therefore x equals negative 3. Am I going too fast? Okay, what am I going to do with example 3?
You're going to find the answer.
Equals x. How do I write an exponent form? Good. 10 to the x equals 10 to the second, which means my answer is just x equals 2. Example 4. How will I write that one? 10 to the x equals 1 over 100. 100 is really what? 10 squared. So when we change that, it's going to become 10 to the x equals 10 to the negative 2, which means x equals negative 2. Last one, we put equals x. That'll be 10 to the x. I don't know what's wrong with me. Equals the square root of 10. How do I write the square root of 10 as an exponent? Good. 10 to the 1/2, which means that x equals 1/2. Any questions?